This disclaimer was copied without permission.
I need a beer for this. Now, there's an elephant in the room that I need to address. Cheers, quaffers, scuzzles, swiggers, sippers, and all other good people out there. Hopswatch here, and in Denmark, where you probably know by now where I live, we will have parliamentary elections on the 5th of June. There are a handful of new parties that are eligible. That's a good beer. Among them, there are two far-right parties to add to the one that we already have. The one already in parliament is Dansk Folkeparti, or the Danish People's Party. It looks like they are going to lose a lot of votes. But before we celebrate, one of the new ones that the polls show might be elected is Nye Borgerlige, or the New Right, which is how they translate their name. And then there is Stram Kurs, or Hardline, which is what we will call them from now on in this video. And they will be the main focus in this video. So politically, the Hardline Party identify itself as identitarians and libertarians. That is newspeak for racists and neocons. Well, fascists, really, you know, about addressing that elephant. The leader of Hardline is really someone. Far-right politician? You bet. It's an understatement. He's Nigel Farage on crystal meth. He's Stephen Bannon on coke. He's David Duke on steroids. He is Rasmus Paludan. His political program quickly summed up. Denmark is a country solely for ethnic Danes, which are defined as persons who share a cultural, religious, linguistic and normative community. That is what that gibberish it translates to in English. The religious bit seems to be especially close to his heart. Not so much Christianity as you might think, even though Denmark is after all a Christian country by tradition. It's more as if it's a different religion from Christianity that he really doesn't like. And yes, you probably guessed it, Rasmus really doesn't like Islam or Muslims. Now, personally, and very short put, I couldn't care less what people believe as long as they don't impose it on others. And I'd admit that Islam has some very serious issues there. All that is for another time, however. Now, I think only few people would disagree that he is taking his critical view of Muslims to extreme levels. To illustrate that, here's a short rundown of some of his materials. A pamphlet handed out in June last year and a poster put up during the municipal elections in 2017. I'm going to translate the pamphlet off the cuff. And I might add, if I were monetized, I'm sure I would be so very quickly after this had been published. I want to emphasize that I don't in any way whatsoever endorse this. I am only translating and paraphrasing that which Paludan writes in the pamphlet in order to show how extreme this runner for parliament is. So here goes. Prohibition regarding motorized vehicles. It is forbidden for Muslims to own, use or drive any motorized vehicle. That would be cars, motorcycles and mopeds. The prohibition also concerns electric bikes and ordinary bikes with more than one gear. Christ. Look, he has me swearing Christian now. Prohibition against staying on streets and in public. It is forbidden for Muslims to gather together two or more anywhere in the public space. This includes areas that would be part of a road, a path, a pavement, in residential areas, no matter whose property the area is. Prohibition against speaking to Danes. It is forbidden to Muslims to speak to Danes unless a Dane first has spoken to the Muslim. Prohibition against staying in nature. It is forbidden for Muslims to stay at Danish beaches, near Danish lakes, in Danish woods, and any other place that is part of Danish nature. Danish is extremely important for him. It is also forbidden for Muslims to stay in parks and in public places and to use public toilets. And this was under the heading prohibition against being in nature. So public toilets are part of nature. That's grand. That's grand, Mr. Paladin. Grand. I need something stronger. Oh, that's scrumptious. Maybe I should just drink Tabasco instead. Cheers. I'll just get a glass of milk. Just a second. That's a bit better. Okay. This is a brilliant beer. It's the Red Cap. I already reviewed that, and links will of course be in the description. Okay, so prohibition against certain types of work. It is forbidden for Muslims to have any work that would need an education of 2 years or more. It is forbidden for Muslims to have any work where they serve Danes in such a way that it is necessary to speak to Danes. So, prohibition against shopping and the like. It is forbidden for Muslims to shop in stores where Danes are shopping. It is forbidden for Muslims to seek access to restaurants, discos, bars, amusement parks, sports facilities and swimming pools and every other place like that. This is insane. Yeah, South Africa in the 80s would have been really proud. Or maybe they would even be backing off a bit. And then there's the poster. Now this is basically a list of names of people that Hardline wants to send back to what they regard as the people's countries of origin, if necessary by aircraft, out of which the people will be thrown out with a parachute. Now, not all the persons mentioned in the poster are Muslims, but most of them are. Some are convicted criminals, while a lot of them aren't. Some are simply legal political activists that hold other viewpoints than Paladin himself. But for this, he thinks they should be sent to their so-called home countries, if necessary, thrown out of an airplane by parachute, just for disagreeing with him and being from a different country at the same time. Amongst other interesting things, on his YouTube channel, which is what originally made him famous, I guess I have to link to it, even though it makes me feel really filthy and dirty and tainted. Anyway, on his YouTube channel, he has argued that his goal is to actually rid all Muslims off the face of the planet. He also uploads videos from his many demonstrations and happenings where he demonstratively burns the Quran, sometimes with the eager assistance of the Danish police force, like here, where they hand him flammables. There's a link to the original video, which you can see on Twitter, in the description. The police force has, I have to say in all fairness, made clear that that is not how the police force should conduct itself in the future, and I hope they really will live up to that. Also on his YouTube channel, Paladin has stated that he wants backwards losers who are ethnic Danes and who don't have an education and have limited cognitive abilities, and who vote for the party in his listen, also called the Red Green Alliance, the somewhat far left party, or Radikale, which is the social liberal party, have to be removed from society and put into secluded areas. When detailing it, it turns out he wants to somehow imprison them. He would need some very large prisons for that. He might actually need to concentrate us, yes, I'm one of those that he doesn't agree with, big surprise, in some sort of camp. And what the hell, you know, I have ADHD. I could use a camp where I could work a bit on my inability to concentrate. So, joking with something extremely worrying and awful aside, this is the present situation in Denmark. Just imagine that scum like this could very well be entering the Danish parliament within a week. Polls consistently show that he indeed will. This psychopath that wants to impose insane apartheid rules to all Muslims, then have them ridden off the face of the planet. Have foreigners whose opinions differ from his own thrown out with parachutes over their alleged home countries, and mass imprison the rest of us who disagrees with him. Denmark, the fairy tale country of the north, the country that so many people think of as some realized socialist utopia, which by the way it isn't and never was. But it will definitely get way worse if Paludan or people like him would get unrestricted power. So, just so you know, I just needed to put it out there. However, I want to end this on a happy note. Subtitles by yours truly.
Så står vi i Valby Homopark.
Ja. Det er godt. Ja, hej hej.
Det er Guds største racist.
Nej, lad være med det der. Hvad laver du?
Hvad laver du, mand? Du bliver nok klogere en dag, drenge.
Tænk, at man opfører sig sådan.
Fuck, det er fedt. Det siger du jo.
Thank you, Crazy Bulgarian, for uploading that. Links to his channel in the description. And also to his Twitter. He's great fun, if you understand Danish. So that would be all. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of content, where I'm talking about other subjects than beer, while, however, still drinking one. Occasionally drinking other things as well. I would really appreciate if you wanted to also follow me on Twitter, on Facebook, on Untapped, and if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notifications when I upload stuff. I have been Hopswatch, at your service. Always remember to drink responsibly, and until next time, cheers! This psychopath that congruency, for fuck's sake, it's wants, it's not want. That would be part of a road, a path, a pavement in boligområder. Hvad fanden hedder det? I'm gonna need to take a swig of this at some time. This is going to take hours to edit. Fuck. Prohibition against speaking to Danes. Did I get the headline there? I'm not sure.